What you boys know about that Evan swap? THICC. Bah! What is going on, guys? We are back in the shack with another video today. We already have some goodies for the Civic build. We are gonna go full send on this. I went ahead and pulled the trigger on all of the things I needed. So we've already got, this is a all-wheel drive transmission, and we'll get to a little bit more detail here. Don't worry about Jaron's car being on the lift. I gotta fix it for something. It's still having a little bit of an issue. Check this out. We are actually currently working with, oh, I probably should take this off my wrist. Having some interesting issues at the moment, and I've been in and out of the doctor and the hospital and stuff. So that's why my uploads have been a little bit less frequent than normal, but I'm working with MA Performance here, and guess what? This thing is gonna have a fully built engine. I actually just got a new throttle body. We've got a skunk tube intake manifold. We've got a Brian Crowder cam, AM cam gear, and valve springs and retainers. This thing's gonna rev to the moon. Should make a little over 450. We're gonna bring the single jingle back, and I'm super stoked on it. Also, pretty sure we are going to be getting the axles in pretty soon, 500 horsepower axles. So that will be super rad. I'm gonna put you guys above me because I don't feel like adjusting the camera right now. Next video you guys see, I will be racing the Evo 3. I was supposed to be racing the Supra. We were doing the V160 swap and we ran into a couple issues. Not to mention the get rag is very different than the W58. So I had to order some more stuff, but I will try and get this car to the drag strip as soon as possible. Any other updates? Don't think so. Actually, well, yeah, I guess I do. This one will only take a second. Boom, it's back. Let's pop on over here to my Civic. It ended up cleaning up okay, but I want you guys to, I know some of you guys probably like the SI Blue or whatever color this is. The paint job that they did really wasn't very good, and I'm also gonna be doing a front end swap anyways because I like the 99 and 2000 front end better. I'm gonna end up like, I mean, they really like, the paint's not great. It's hard to tell on a GoPro, but it really isn't that good. They did kind of a crap job, not to mention they didn't even do the door jams or anything. So I'm either going to wrap the car or paint it, but I have a color in mind. Some of you guys might know the color that I'm gonna do, but it also looks pretty good with the Cosmos Racing wheels. I'm kind of trying to make this thing a sleeper, so I don't know if I should go with white wheels, but at the end of this thing's life, I don't think it's gonna be a very inconspicuous color anyways. Nobody really expects a Honda to be super fast, but when you add a K24 and all-wheel drive and a huge turbo, that's usually a good mix of things. Moving on to K24. I bought this K24 a while ago because I've been wanting to do a K-Series swap for quite a while. The other Civic over there, I wanted to just go ahead and make a dedicated front-wheel drive car because it has been totaled by hail damage and it looks kind of ugly. Plus, if I'm gonna put a bunch of money into a Civic, it's gonna be a hatchback like this one, a clean hatchback like this. So I bought this and I've been kind of sitting on it. It wasn't auto. I ended up removing the torque converter. You can see it right there. It's just kind of sitting right now. So this car is gonna be manual and we're gonna be going full send on it. But the first stage of this car's life, we're gonna go straight to all-wheel drive and we're just going to run a stock K24. Well, stock block K24. So unbuilt, we're gonna see what a K24 can do with a decent sized T3 turbo. So while this is out, I'm gonna kind of be doing some turbo preppage. I also will not have AC, but I will keep this just in case I do want to add AC later. But yeah, today I'm going to go ahead and prep the oil pan for a return. Ethan has made 500 or higher on a stock block K24. So I'm really excited to see what it does. Now you do have to remember that doing all-wheel drive, you will have some powertrain loss. So at the flywheel, you might be making 600 horse, but you lose a lot of power distributing the 4 different wheels. So it might be like 450 or 500 on pretty low boost. But the ultimate goal is what we are going to be talking about today. If you guys remember when I bought Ethan's S2000, he had some spare blocks, and I've been talking to Ethan about this for a long time, but I just happened to just grab it recently while I was there. Today I'm gonna have to disassemble these down to bare block because I'm gonna be shipping these off to get sleeved. I'm going full send on this car, and I'm super amped about it. Might do a stroker, like it might be a K26 or something. I'm gonna be sending these off to a company called Cylinder Support Systems, and it's not like doing dart and sleeves. It's pretty cool, it's an interesting way. So as you can see, this is an open deck, semi-open deck, whatever you wanna call it. Cylinder Support Systems is pretty cool. Now, I don't have any relationship with them. I'm paying full price for everything, no discount, no exchange of money, but they do have a pretty cool product. So it's actually a really inexpensive way to sleeve, but these blocks, I'm gonna send both of them off. They're gonna be 800 horsepower rated, and that is going to be an absolute monster in a car that weighs like 2,600 pounds or maybe even less. I'm actually not too familiar with the process of how it's done. I just know that in the end, you can make some boost. To make 700, 800 horsepower through a K-Series and all-wheel drive, it can take quite a decent amount of boost. So if we're at 40-something PSI, we need to not have, everybody be calling me, dude. We need to not have the walls get destroyed. I gotta answer this. This is Evan. Speaking of, that is actually my doctor, and I just found out that I have a defect that happens in 1% of the population in my kidneys. So I don't have cancer, and I'm not dying. So that's a plus. It's been a really weird past couple weeks. I'm gonna move the Evo out so that I can get going. Ooh, I need to turn the AC on, boys. Hot as hell! I did say I'm front end swapping it, so if anybody out there has a crash DK or something, or if you need, so this is a VIS carbon fiber hood. I'm gonna have to get rid of the hood, the bumper, the fenders. The fenders are actually not OE, I don't think. These are metal. They might be kind of rare. I don't know. There's some interestingly rare parts on this. This, if it's a real wing, might be worth a lot of money. I will have to get rid of all this to do the front end swap because that front end looks cooler. I'm gonna be going through as thorough as I can and telling you guys about how to do the all-wheel drive swap. It's really not super complicated. It's a little expensive, but it's pretty simple. So this is a 02 to 06 CRV transmission, and as you could tell, it's boom right there. You've got this drive line goes to the rear wheels. I ended up buying, again, nobody sponsored, just because I'm trying to get this done as quick as possible. I ended up buying, I don't want to say Humble Performance. I think Humble makes a kit for it, and I can't even remember if it comes with axles and stuff or not, but you basically just need RSX axles, an 02 to 04 RSX ECU from a manual car. This is DC5 RSX, so RSX shifter cables and a shifter, an RSX engine bay harness, and then you kind of splice some stuff together. It really is, it's pretty simple in the gist of everything, but because these parts are pretty sought after in the Honda world, they're a little expensive. Like this trans alone was almost as much as I paid for the car itself. So hopefully, I mean, this came, I think this came from a pretty reputable place out in Florida. So I'm kind of looking forward to, I'm hoping that this is, it's a good trans and it'll work good for us. It's interesting, you actually basically have to add like almost like a subframe sort of thing in the back of the Civics, which, I mean, you obviously have to hold. There's gonna be some sort of carrier for all of this, and I think it's pretty minimal fabrication if you just buy all the components. But anyways, I'm gonna try and get the engine in the car in the next couple videos, but I'm gonna start disassembling these guys right here, get them down to bare blocks, and get them boxed up. So what I just did was I took a honing device and I just cleaned out the cylinder walls. I really just want to make sure that I don't have any major cracks or anything down in there. And as you can kind of see, like they were a little bit rusted out, but they're actually pretty clean. I ran my hands through them and I don't see any major scoring. This block is interesting because it seems to have had a lot of scoring on one of these. You can see that, yeah, it had some, it's seen better days. Now, they'll over-hone all this kind of stuff, but I just wanted to make sure that nothing was cracked and everything was usable. Now, to make it simple for shipping, this one has a crank in it, this one does not. I'm kind of curious on the crank on this one. We'll take it out, but you have to remove the girdle and anything else attached to the block. They just only want the block itself. So this first block is actually really nice. It has no issues, and I mean the bearings actually look pretty nice too. I could probably look a little bit closer, but I really don't care because it doesn't really matter at this point. There's no cracks. Everything seems to be okay. Cylinder walls actually look pretty great. This is how I need to ship it off. It's literally just like this. Flip it over a little bit. Got the thrust bearings. Like everything seemed pretty good from this engine. Like this, I mean, that's a little worse for wear. The crank actually looks pretty good too. I don't see any notching, or doesn't look like, oh, actually that. No, okay, that's just dust on it. Yeah, there's no like spun bearing or anything, I don't think, on this. So I think this crank is also usable, which is super nice because it's, you know, never hurts to have a spare crank just in case you know, somebody has a little too much fun putting a pilot bearing in or something. Oh, K24, this is an A1, nice. What is this one? K24A8. This is K24A8. What is this one? K24A4. Okay, so the Accords had the A4 in it. 3 different blocks, but essentially it'll be the same thing. FedEx is gonna have a fun time tossing this around. We are gonna probably get a little tape and make sure that this stuff just kind of breaks up and stays on the top of the blocks, but I'm gonna ship it off just like this, and hopefully it works. I'm actually gonna get some 100-mile-an-hour tape and wrap it on the bottom, because that's the stuff that will prevent everything from moving around. Super stoked to have this thing out. I'm trying to get it done as quickly as I can. I don't know how long the CSS blocks are gonna take, but the goal for this really is to have fun with the stock engine for just a little while and see where that goes. It really doesn't take much boost on a nice size T3. Like 12 PSI is like 500 horsepower. And so that will be absolutely insane. And the fact that really all said and done, it'll be probably a little bit less than 10 to 11,000 all in. Maybe a little bit, probably a little bit more, including ECU and stuff. But it's pretty insane to think about, like you can build something like this that will, like, a decent amount of boost can walk a Hellcat. And you know, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Like, not everybody wants to drive a Honda around. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really want to drive a Honda around on a daily either. But I'll race with it, and that crap is fun. Next video with this, I'm gonna start the front end swap. I've got the fenders, the bumper, I think the hood, I'm not sure. We'll get that knocked out. I'm waiting for the clutch and flywheel. ACT is sending us out a clutch that's pretty hefty and probably shouldn't be streeted, but we'll send it anyways. Again, my goal for this one, I really want to not break some records, because that doesn't seem feasible for, like, some of these D16 cars out there that break records are like, you know, $50,000 cars still for a D series. But the objective here is to stomp on as many people as I can. And when this thing is back up and running, probably sometime here in the next week, we'll bring it back to the strip, hopefully with the new axles, new transmission, and everything. We won't break anything, and we can just have fun. This car is now my dedicated front-wheel drive drag car. I don't know, you guys probably didn't see it earlier, but I did a super sick job buttoning up that roof. I actually ended up gutting the roof as well, so we got a little bit less weight in there. I'll get a nicer seat and probably remove the passenger seat, and maybe even put the red seats in this car. But that's the goal for this. I know a lot of you guys probably just wanted to hear exactly what my ideas were for this car. Right now, the thing I'm trying to do most is just have fun again. Because of my anxiety, I really just wasn't able to do anything fun for just the longest time. And I'm definitely so glad that I got help, the help that I needed, so that I can get back into it. Because, like, I don't know, like doing this kind of stuff, I know it's obviously more fun to watch that way, but I don't know, like, I've done all this, and I just, at the end of the day, like, I just go inside and sit down because I couldn't do anything. So I'm really just, I'm amped. I'm really amped. I give you guys daily advice every single video that I do make. And my advice for you guys today, what should I say today? People with a poor mindset and a poor mentality, a broke mentality, will do a little bit of work and expect a bunch back in return for it. And people with a wealthy or hardworking mindset will do a bunch of work and think that they've never done enough. to be honest, it's not the greatest thing in the world to always feel like you're not doing enough. But if you're constantly feeling that way, that's probably a good sign that you are working really hard. Other people out there, they'll do 3 or 4 hours of work in a day and be like, well, why didn't this bring me more money, or why didn't this do more for my life? And kind of going along with that, it's not about the work that you do, it's also about the risk you take. It's the risks you take to get where you want to be in life. That's really super important. A lot of people like that just don't do a couple hours of work and expect everything back in return. Don't expect a million things to go your way just because you put in a little bit of work. If you're doing your best and if you're working your hardest, and at the end of the day, like, the right mentality is you work all day long and you still feel like you haven't gotten enough done. And that's a great way to go about life, and I promise you'll be successful someday if that's how you're thinking. I'll let you go on that note. I love you guys. Wanted to make a quick video, nice little update. Been in and out of the doctor, so it's been really hard for me to make content, but I'm really trying to film more often and get more stuff done and pump some content out for you guys. Really excited to go back to the strip. I'm really ready to get driving again, and I'm doing it as much as I can, but that's assuming my car's run. Have an amazing day. Make sure you guys subscribe and turn those notifications on or back on, and just have a great day. Peace. Hey, I got 2 videos for you guys to watch, and if you guys know, I don't know if you know it or not, but it does help me a lot if you do watch those videos. It does a ton. I mean, it just puts me up in the algorithm, that kind of thing. But make sure you subscribe and have a great day.